All good, okay. You didn't miss me too much from last week. Um, so we had a little break last week on our Wednesday live webinars, just really to take stock, catch a breath, and plan for the next few weeks of content, really. So we're still accepting any requests for content and for webinars. So if you do have anything you'd like me to cover, then do hop over to the Social Media Academy Facebook group and let us know there what you'd like to see. Today I'm going to be talking all about Facebook Messenger though. So I'm just going to check before I jump in, just kind of a message pop through, just check to make sure we're all good. Fabulous, all good, all good. Thanks, Rach. So these are our weekly webinars or Facebook Lives. They are short, 20-minute webinars with lots of free content, free value for you guys during lockdown, because we really wanted to give back to the business community. And this is part of the She Means Business program in association with Facebook and Enterprise Nation. So this is a slide deck from our work with them. I'm an accredited Facebook trainer with those guys. So we're talking about Facebook Messenger today. Hi, Olga. Nice to see you. If anybody else is watching, do say hello in the comments below and let me know where you're watching from. As always, if you have any questions as we go, do pop them in the comments. I did a little test earlier. I'm on a new laptop today, and for some reason I can't toggle between the questions and the presentation on this laptop. Not sure why, so I'll figure that out for next week. But I will basically pick up some questions at the end. It's probably going to be the better way to do it. Okie dokie. So today we're talking all about Facebook Messenger and how you can integrate it, because I think it's definitely a tool that doesn't get spoken about a lot. It's of course another tactic for customer service, primarily in customer engagement. And we're going to come on to a couple of stats that will show you why you should maybe think of Messenger as a good communications tool and as part of your strategy, as opposed to just a way people are getting in touch with you, if that makes sense. So we're going to go through that. Okie doke. If you have any questions afterwards, or you're not yet in touch with us online, head over to the Social Media Academy, because we will be taking more questions in there, and we always take questions if you have any. So yeah, we'll pop the link into the comments. And we've also got a new ebook for anybody who wants one. It's all about how to use video on social media, because we've seen obviously the rise of video, which has been important for a few years. We've been talking about that a lot, but lots more people are using it now since lockdown, which is fantastic. But understandably, people are nervous about how to use it. So let's get cracking. I'm now going to put it onto present mode, because once I do that, I can no longer see this screen that I'm looking at. So I'm now going to jump off and we're going to get going, and I'll come back and check in on you at the end afterwards with questions. Okie dokie. And do let me know if you can hear me. Rach, if you can give me the nod. Last time I did this a few weeks ago in this view, you lost sound, so let me know. Okay, so today we're talking all about driving results using Facebook Messenger. Anybody who doesn't know, this is me. I'm the founder and director of Naturally Social. We're a social media and communications agency based in Wiltshire. And we work with small businesses and organisations alike who want to understand how to do social media and digital comms well as helping those who don't have a communications team in their business to get their messages heard. Okay, so today, what are we looking at? This is just a few things we're going to touch on. It's not a massively in-depth presentation, but it will give you an oversight of Facebook Messenger. So we're going to look at the messaging landscape right now. We're going to have a quick overview of Facebook messaging solutions. And I'll also leave you with a few questions to ask yourself when you're crafting a strategy for Facebook Messenger. So let's have a quick look at the landscape as is with messaging. 77.8% of the world's smartphone users use a messaging app, and that number is still growing. Each month, people and businesses are exchanging over 20 billion messages on Messenger. It's massive. So why is it so useful for business? We've seen probably about 53% through research, 53% of people are more likely to shop with a business they can message directly, and 56% of people would rather message than call customer service. So this is a key point for me. I know a lot of companies come to me and say that they don't want people to message them on Facebook. They'd rather they go to their website. Or when we start driving a lot of interest on Messenger for them, they go, "Oh," and I say, like, "What's your response to?" We've been asked this question. How would you like us to respond? And generally, we used to hear, we first start working with people is, can you get them to call us, get them to email us, or can you send them to the website? And that's really unadvisable because we need to capture their interest in the place where those people want to talk to us. And if we're stepping out into social media and Facebook, we need to expect some response back. And that will likely be driven through Messenger. And therefore, we need to allow customers to have that interaction from inquiry to completion, whatever that is, as much as possible in Messenger, because that's where they want to communicate. So it's clear that with those stats, 56% of people would rather message than call customer service. Here's a little case study for you. Amanda Hendrickson, owner of Amanda Sews, which specializes in embroidery, uses messaging to keep up with her orders. In fact, 90% of her orders are placed online. I'm just going to quickly make sure you guys can still hear me. Yes, brilliant. Pretty cool. Yes, so Amanda Hendrickson, she specializes in embroidery and she uses Messenger to keep up with her orders. So in fact, 90% of her orders are placed on Messenger. And she's estimated that she has now saved 15 hours a week by using Messenger. And 75% of Amanda's customers discovered her business through Facebook. So in the past, when people discovered the business on Facebook, they would place their orders by commenting on posts, and those comments would often get lost amidst dozens of other posts and comments, and tracking them down was understandably frustrating and time consuming. So once Amanda realized that messaging was built into a Facebook page, she started using that to manage orders instead. She now manages most of her orders through the page inbox, where she can actually search for orders by keywords. That's functionality that we have. When she fulfills an order, she then moves that message into a done folder, where she can easily check in with customers afterwards to make sure that they've received it and whether they like it. So she's delivering that customer service solution or kind of process, should I say that, funnel, via Messenger. She estimates that by using Messenger to track orders and communicate with customers, she's saving 15 hours a week. And the real-time conversations that Amanda has via messaging have also helped her forge a closer bond with customers. So to help direct people to message her business, Amanda uses the send message call to action button in her page posts that you're prompted to do. And she also has send message selected as her call to action when she runs ads. She'll also show a list of popular queries in her page visitors messenger display. So like these you can see on here on the right. So like, what areas do you serve? What hours are you open? What services do you offer? And that really helps to start that conversation with people who discover her and find her product interesting. So the messaging solutions that Facebook has. Good news is that if you've got a Facebook page, then you're already on Messenger. And And you can have your call to action button on your page set to send message. You can change that via the desktop. So Messenger really allows you to be responsive to customers, whether you want to manually manage messages and conversations, or have a build a custom presence, which we'll go on to in a sec. So you have a wide variety of options based on how much you want to invest. So these are the kind of few options that you've got, really. There are two routes you can take when it comes to answering customers' messages. If you're not receiving a huge influx of responses, if you don't get loads of messages, then we would recommend that you use the Page or Pages app to manage conversations, and it's likely that you'd be using any of these, so self-serve. And the advantage of this is that you can customize your response individually for each person, offering a personal touch with these sorts of actions. So you can set up reactive manual replies, away messages, a bit like out of Office, and instant replies. So as soon as somebody picks up their phone and tries to message you, you can set a response to them and start that conversation. But the downside to that is probably scalability. As your business grows and the messages that you receive increase, scaling your ability to manage it this way will be really important. And that is where automation comes in. So to scale your messaging efforts, you can use API, so coding that Facebook offers to build in, to kind of develop a personalized experience of Messenger. So you use automation, live messaging, artificial intelligence. This is where it kind of gets really cool and helps you to scale that amount of contact that you're getting. So the API allows you to take full advantage of the instant, expressive, and concurrent nature of messaging, whilst building on the unique features of the Messenger platform, such as live messaging, automation, and AI. But today we're focusing on self-serve because there is it's complicated. I don't use it because we're not coders, and we don't get that level necessarily of kind of messaging direct into our inbox. We can't self-serve. But there's partners that Facebook can recommend. If that's something that you would like, let me know and I can send you the link. So let's go through a few automated features that are native to Messenger. First, we've got the away messages. These allow you to send automatic messages to let people who message your page know when you're not there, so you can set your messaging status to away. This is really helpful to let people know when they can expect a response. Or where to find other information. So as we know, social media is 24/7. I certainly wouldn't expect my team to pick up messages 24/7. Using the away function allows us to manage expectations. You can also set up instant replies. These are sent out automatically to people who message your page for the first time. So this is helpful if you receive messages after business hours, but want people to know that you've received their message, but you can't reply straight away. And then you've got the greetings. So this is a customizable note that you can see here on the right that will appear when someone starts a new message thread with you. But before they actually, it will allow you to start a new message. It will allow them to start a new message thread with you, but before they've actually sent their query or question. So it's a great way to greet people and set a friendly tone whilst letting them know what type of messages are expected. Okie dokie. So I'm just reading through my notes here. This is for our face-to-face workshop. That runs down how to actually set these up. So if you go onto your Facebook page, in settings at the top, click down the left-hand side to messaging, and you'll have all of those functions that you've just seen there. You'll be prompted to set them up. Really, really simple. Okay, so to help you provide a more personalized service to your potential customers, you can see potential and current customers, you can see basic information about the people who interact with your business on Facebook when they message you. So simply tap the person's name to see their publicly available profile, as well as previous interactions with your business. Then use that knowledge to customize and personalize your conversation with them and any future communications. This is the Facebook inbox. So before we go to managing your messages, we want to tell you a bit about this feature, which is the new inbox, where you can get Instagram messages on here as well. It's a unified inbox that allows you to respond faster and reduce the likelihood of missing out of important customer messages. So you can also manage your Instagram DMs in here too, and it allows you to add notes as well and tags to people's inquiries so that you can collaborate from a customer service perspective. So I'd definitely check out Inbox. One of the key things to remember with Inbox is that you've got different folders. So you've got like unopened, archived, done, and if you lose a message, then check out the different folders. If you've got tons of messages in there, you might want to action them off so it clears it away. Or that might just be me being really picky about organization. So some best practices for Facebook Messenger and how you can manage communications with people. Always set a welcome greeting. Set a customizable greeting to appear when someone begins a conversation with your page for the first time. This appears before any messages are sent, and they can provide any information that you want people to have before they message you. Remember to set expectations with instant replies. Set these on to anyone who messages your page. This can be used to greet customers, thank them for contacting you before you can respond personally. And always use an away message if you can't be there. Whenever you're away from your computer or your phone, you can turn on away messages to let customers know that you will be there soon and you'll be back to answer their question. And this helps you keep your responsiveness rating up and sets expectations with your customers. So the response rating is public to anybody who visits your page, and it shows them how well you are, how good you are, and how well you respond to customer inquiries. So use an away message if you can't be there. And send the right message to each customer. So look at your customer information cards to get information on your customer before you respond. The context shows you their local time, where they live, their order history or their conversation history with you, and more information about them. And that should help you tailor a message that's right for them, and therefore lead you to more sales or kind of better reputation and a better customer engagement with them. And you can also save time with saved replies. So these allow you to write, save, and then reuse messages. Again, particularly useful if you get quite a lot of messages, or you have people collaborating on replies from a customer service point of view. These are especially useful for commonly asked questions about things that you do, like opening hours, email addresses, or phone numbers. So quickly moving on then, just some best practices for responding to messages. If 90% of your messages are responded to within 15 minutes, you'll earn a very responsive to messages badge, which appears, as I said, very prominently on your page near the About section. Whilst Facebook don't expect every page to meet this threshold, they recommend being as responsive as possible to build a rapport with your customer. What are some trends? Do you notice a lot of people asking the same questions, such as what's your opening hours, or what's your return policy? When are you going to be in? What services do you offer? How much do things cost? Anytime you notice a trend in those questions, it's always advisable to create some saved replies in order to save you time. And remember to set expectations. Some people may message your business when you're away, and they might expect to get answers that day or night, and you might not be able to. So this is where you want to set up a greetings message, this is where a greetings message should be set up over setting up an instant reply. Knowing how to answer sensitive questions. When people get post questions on your page, such as asking where your offices are located or your bank holiday opening hours, it's best to reply publicly in case someone else has the same question. It's always advisable. But it can be tricky if people are inquiring about billing questions or they need sensitive data, or you need sensitive data in order to answer their question. So order statuses, topics that probably best worked out directly or privately, it's better to take it offline. So in situations like this, it's best to use private messages. And page admins can reply to these sensitive questions with a private reply by clicking on the message option directly underneath the question they like to respond to. Another key point that I tend to encourage everybody to remember when it comes to social media in general is write the way you speak, but particularly more so for Messenger. Messaging is direct and it's a personal communication channel. It's one-to-one, so it's best to keep a friendly and respectful tone. Write to your customers the same way that you'd speak to them face-to-face. Treat them how you would treat them in the office, face-to-face, or on the phone. So how can you encourage communication with customers? Lots of different ways. You can place plugins on your website that we talked about earlier that will promote your Messenger app. You can use your Messenger link, and actually now you have QR codes for Messenger. You can promote those on business cards or posters or emails. You can select the send message button, as I said, on your call to action button on the page. And you could invest in paid advertising with Messenger ads, basically. So this is your call to action button that I mentioned a minute ago. This will help people as soon as they land on your page, particularly when you're running adverts. This will drive them to send you a message straight away. So in this case, it's encouraging people to start that conversation. Make sure you do that. This is the example of a customer chat plugin, and this allows you to integrate your Messenger experience directly into your website. Has anybody visited a website where they've seen this Messenger function? I think that it's really, really cool. And some businesses have them set up to activate after a certain amount of time with somebody being on their page. But others have it available instantly when someone lands on their website to say, hey, how can we help? So yes, this will allow customers to interact with your business at any time with the same personalized experience that they would get in Messenger direct from their Facebook page. But again, as I mentioned, it does take some kind of web development specialism, and if you were to, and kind of automation really, and AI, I guess, artificial intelligence, in order to set up a really personal human experience. If you have used those, or if you've got one on your website, I'd love to see it. I'd love to know how you get on with it and what kind of stats you find. Always interested to hear about results with Messenger. Okay, and then just to finish off, I've got a couple of slides here about paid advertising. Just to say that there are a couple of ways that you can promote with Messenger. By driving loads of people to message you on Facebook, you can see on the right-hand side here, we've got our inbox. You can actually capture that data and retarget them directly into their inbox. But you can only do that once they've had some sort of interaction with you, and you can personalize each message. On the left is just like a boosted post that drives people to send a message for you to you as well. So we can see there, it will always ads that these are called ads that click to Messenger. So this is just changing the call to action. Oh, there we go. Cool. So best practices when you're advertising, when you're promoting the call to action button as a best practice when you are advertising and encouraging people to message your page. Always select preview in the Facebook Messenger app so that you can view the customer experience. At the bottom of the Messenger setup in Ads Manager, you can see an option to preview in the app. This will push your initial message to Messenger so you can preview it just like your customer would see it. Always use visuals and descriptive text. Because you're navigating people out of the Facebook or Instagram platform, your ad needs to make it apparent what happens. So you need to tell them what they will get from your advert and what they're doing. Always use, make sure your text tells people what they're going to get, and use really bright, well, visuals are always important for all advertising, really. Provide preset responses so that when people click on your send message, it will already lead them through the customer journey, through the sales journey. I've seen a lot of people setting up paid ads that encourage people to message them, and they kind of end up with a message in the inbox and they don't know how to start a conversation, and that often loses that sale or that kind of customer journey. So when you're setting up an ad like this, it will prompt you to set these sorts of parameters up. They're best set up in Ads Manager, but we're not going to be covering that today. If you do want help setting up paid ads such as these, then just let me know, and I'll send you some information on some of the training that we offer. So let's leave you with a few questions for you to ask before you start out on a strategy with using Messenger. As a destination, it allows you to reach people through one-to-one communication. Your audience's wants and needs are different here from other channels. So here are a few questions that you can ask yourself in order to make sure you've got the right strategy. So think about what questions or needs might your customer ask of your business on Facebook Messenger. To answer this, you need to evaluate the common themes of messages that you've already got, including social media, website, and emails. Then you need to ask yourself, what are people asking your business in existing channels, such as page comments or messages? And then finally, how can you design your ads that target your audience specifically for Messenger versus other platforms? Your target audience will change a bit due to the varying frequency that people use Messenger. And if most people in your target audience use Messenger, you won't see much change. But if few people in your audience use Messenger, your audience might act very differently from what you've seen with other platforms. Also, the demographic of the audience that you interact with on Messenger, I can't get my words out today. The demographics of the audience that interact with you on Messenger could be very different to the audiences that you interact with on other platforms, which isn't a surprise. We know that a younger generation like that one-to-one interaction over an older generation, who will likely comment and engage in the feed and then go off onto a website or fill in forms, etc. Cool. So that is our half hour, people. Here are your key takeaways for using Messenger to drive results. Engage. Quite honestly, engage your customers with Facebook Messenger. Use it for personalized responding and sensitive information. Set expectations with your customers for when they can expect to hear from you if they are driving towards Messenger to contact you. So set up quick replies and away messages. You can make it easy for customers to reach you via Messenger, either via installing plugins on your site or updating the CTA, the call to action button on your page. And if you really want to go in on Facebook Messenger, then use adverts to really amplify your ads, to amplify your efforts. And that's it from me this week, guys. Thank you so much for turning up today. It was great to be able to help you with another webinar, free webinar all about Facebook Messenger this week. This is a link to our Social Media Academy Facebook group. Come along and join us. We talk about lots of things to do with social media. It's a really safe place for you to ask questions and learn some more. I do some exclusive Q&As in there from time to time too, probably a couple of times a month. So yeah, just search out the Social Media Academy, and I'd love to see you there. If you've got any questions afterwards, again, just holler, you know where we are. And I'm going to navigate back to the main page here. Cool, and I can see that the lovely Olga has a question. Very useful. Didn't know a few bits there. Is that the same on Insta? It certainly is. Certainly is. You can manage both from your Facebook page. Okay, cool. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. That's it for another week of our lovely webinars. I hope you found that useful. Do pop along next week. I'm going to be talking more about Facebook and Instagram. We'll pop the topic up later on this week for you. If you have anything else you'd like us to cover, always let me know. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. See you soon.